Hi greedy 3Ders. Now in my last video I made this Tauntaun from the Star Wars 3D group, and I thought before I put Luke on him it could do with something else. So I want to do the Probe Droid as seen in The Empire Strikes Back. Now the 3D Patreon for Star Wars have done a Probe Droid, and here it is, and I'll put the links in the description where you can get it from. So I'm a member of their Patreon, so I get this free. If you want to join their Patreon, again, links in the description. So I've downloaded it, I've printed it on my Uniformation GK2, and I've done it all in Sunlu resin. I've used a piece of metal inside glued in there just to give it the stability and just to hold it in place. And look at that print, it's come out beautifully on the GK2, one of my favourite printers ever. First thing I'm going to do with it is I'm going to give it a spray of some black rattle can spray paint, and I'll put a link in the description to the one I'm using. It says matte on there, but this is anything but matte. It's very glossy, and that's just what I need because I've got a little plan to make this look really metallic. I'm giving it a good blast all over. Make sure you well ventilate the area. Use a mask if you're doing it inside. Do it outside if you've got the option. Now this is the stuff I'm using. It's graphite powder, and this is a grey graphite powder, and it's fantastic stuff. Now some important things with this stuff: wear gloves and wear a mask as the powder goes everywhere, and I wouldn't want you breathing this in. So you literally get a brush, dab it in, and just apply it generally. It's really good stuff. I've used it before, if you recall, on the Winter Soldier arm, and it's great for a metallic-y looking effect, and there's no finesse to it. You literally just slap it all over, paint it all over, get it into the nooks, get it into the crannies. As I say, this stuff is dusty, it will get everywhere. Make sure you put something down. I'll put this cardboard down on top of the table because I don't want it to go all over my table. You must wear gloves, and you must wear a face mask, a respirator, or this will get in your lungs and you do not want it in there. So get it all over, get it covered. Don't be afraid, slap it on there. If it goes on the bottom, onto the base, onto the floor, onto your worktop, just scrape it back off again and use it again. It is fantastic stuff. Get it all over. Now when you're happy that it's completely saturated with the graphite powder, just get some cotton wool and buff it. Give it a really good wipe all over, buff it well. You will bring on the shine and you will bring on that metallic surface. Just get your cotton wool and buff away. I'm still blown away by the quality of this print. Look at the two antennae. They printed in one go. They're not anything I stuck on extra. That's part of the print. Incredible detail in these dioramas. As I say, join the Patreon by all accounts. I'll put a link in the description, and you get loads and loads of freebies. You will be shocked how many freebies you get. Well worth a sub. Okay, there you go, it's all done, it's all cleaned, it's all metallic. Look how metal that looks. I am chuffed with that. Now I'm going to take some gemstone. This is from the Mega Air set by the Army Painter, and I'm just going to paint around one of the circles here. I want to give it that kind of, there's a light shining look, and this gemstone is great for that. So little brush, take your time and just get it around there. Don't put it on too thick. We want to have it to look like it's a light, so we don't need it too splattered on. And take some metal varnish to make it look shiny, and just give it a coat over with the metal varnish. I've done that, and I've also done the piece to the left as well, as I want that to look like it's a light that's not on. So that will just now dry dead clear and it'll look lovely. Some shining silver next on a dry brush, and I'll put a link in the description to the dry brushes that I use too. And I'm just going over some of the rougher edges just to make sure that it looks like it's been a bit scuffed and a bit battered as it's landed on the planet of Hoth. Now I've got one of these miniature model drills, and I'm going to be using this to make a hole in the base to allow me to put this in. Now these things are great. You get some drills with it, you get the drill bit itself, and it gives you immense control when you're drilling in. You can't use electric drills really easily on resin because it will just crack it and break it. So these things give you great control, and the top of it just twists, so you can literally hold it down, twist the main body of it and it will drill through. Absolutely wonderful way of drilling through resin. Link in the description where you can get one of these from. And now I'm going to use some UV resin. I've already put a little bit of super glue in there, but I'm going to use UV resin on the top just to hold this Probe Droid in place. UV resin, as it sounds on the tin, you just pop it on, it pops clear, and then you put your UV lights on it. You've seen me use this before. This is on Alien Drool, this is Iceman Frost. But this, in this occasion, is sticking a Probe Droid to Hoth. Now this, aka Snow, will just go on the top there just to cover the little bit of clear resin, and I'm also going to put it across the droid, the little dollops here and there, and just as it starts to dry, use the same brush to just fetch it out, just splatter it around, just dab it on. Don't go overboard with it, but obviously it's on Hoth, it's going to look snowy, you need it to match in with the rest of the diorama, so take your time and pop some snow on him. Now some Green Stuff World Liquid Frost. What I'm using with this is I'm just going to pour it on so that it pools in certain places, it drips in certain places. This stuff is amazing. As it dries, it leaves like an icicle effect. I've used it quite a few times. I was a bit nervous when I first used it, but literally just plonk it on. There's no finesse to it, and it will dry. Allow it to dry for a good 12 hours, and it will look like frost. And that is the Probe Droid done. Luke Skywalker soon. What do you think of the final result? Well, there we go, Greedy 3Ders, another model finished, and I'm still working on Luke Skywalker. I've got a little bit more to do with him before I can pop him on his tauntaun here, but we've got an Imperial Probe Droid that's joined the diorama. Now, if you like what you see today, please subscribe to the channel, and I want to say a great big greedy thank you to our latest patron, Mark Hacker. Thank you for your support, Mark. It's good to have you on board. If you guys want to join the Greedy 3D Patreon, all the information will be in the link below, and don't forget, we've got a Captain Britain file in the process being made as we speak, which I'll be winging its way to you guys of the Patreon as soon as it lands in my lap. Hope you've enjoyed today, and I'll see you next time where we will be putting a Luke Skywalker on top of his tauntaun. See you soon.